What's good? What's up, everybody? Um, don't really know what to talk about today, but I'm just gonna keep talking. Um, I just got the opportunity to go to another place, like another warehouse, and when it comes to traveling, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first heard about the whole opportunity about going out and working at another warehouse in another state, I just love the whole concept about it. Like being able to go out, travel, work, and get paid for it. And at the end of the day, it depends on the luck. Depending on where you end up. Because something I've come to learn that at the end of the day, it's just a business. At the end of the day, you know, um, you might end up in a site, or you might end up in a place that they want double occupancy rooms, and you're gonna have to be sharing with somebody. You know, I'm not gonna lie, like, I've had good experiences and I've had bad experiences. You know what I mean? And for the most part, like, I've gotten the opportunity to kind of not really choose who I want to room with, but whenever I've had to go ahead and room with somebody, um, I kind of get an idea, or I have an idea of who they are already. But on the occasion that I have shared with somebody that I really don't know, yes, it has happened. And I mean, haven't really had any bad experiences, like never got anything stolen, or never had any problems with this gentleman, or never, tempers flared or anything like that. Nothing ever occurred. But, at the end of the day, you always just want your own space. You always want your own privacy, to be honest. And that's always something big for me when it came to coming out on the road. Like, obviously, that it's how can I say, it's a gamble. But then again, at the end of the day, you are grateful for being able to be out on the road. But for sure, you always prefer your own room. um, and it's always something nice. Like, I never really imagined how it was going to be, but I just remember that at the time that I was asked, and they had told me the whole concept of it, was just like, damn, you go out, they fly you out on an airplane, you arrive to the state that you're going to be working, somebody gets there to pick you up, um, or you get a rental, depending on the circumstances. But, as far as the main thing is just like, then you get there and you sign into, you go into the hotel, and, obviously, if this is your first time traveling, just remember they have accidental fees. So, take some extra cash with you, just depending on the state you're at and the city you're at. If you're in the middle of nowhere, it might be a $50 deposit. If you're in New York or something, that's a $200 deposit easy. But for the most part, just the whole thought about it, about being out on the road, like, you get to the room, and, like, it just kind of depends the way you look at it, because at the end of the day, it's just a room by itself, and you're just in there. Now, depending on whatever you want, is the way you're gonna be living in that room, you know. For me, I always like to keep my stuff like nice and tidy, I guess you could say, um, and try to bring in as least people as possible to this room, if possible, nobody. And that's just because, I understand the concept of, I'm from LA, man. Sometimes that's all people be doing out there. Just robbing people, robbing these motherfuckers. And I'm no stranger to any of these things going on, so me being from LA, I just tend to, be aware of my surroundings. You don't want things to be coming up missing. You don't know the people you chilling with. You don't know what bullshit they on. You know, they might have just started working at the warehouse a week before you did, and they might be on some bullshit trying to set you up. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say I haven't seen it before, but maybe that's just the way I think. Because you don't see that type of stuff too often. At least not that I have seen, and I'll talk about that stuff later. I have seen and heard about and firsthand, not really been in that situation, but seen somebody that's in a situation like that, you know, and it's just fucking crazy, to be honest. Like, I won't even lie, that's just fucking crazy. But yeah, just, you're in the room, and then the following day, depending on how everything is ran, you eventually show up, you have a meeting, and you get to know what's pretty much the objective and what's the goal of the project. Maybe any details that the manager, lead, or supervisor might have, go ahead and share with everybody. Maybe on the duration, of the project, how long it's supposed to go, and just any questions, and just any questions that anybody has in general can be asked at that point. And then basically being able to meet up downstairs the following day after they have that meeting, and everybody shows up to work. You have your drivers take, whatever number of associates you have, and you show up to the warehouse. And the way I've always managed myself is, you go up and that's what they need, and you let the team know exactly what's going to be needed of them, and talk to them straight up, no bullshit, depending on whatever they're going to do, unloading, picking, put away, whatever. It's just the way you're supposed to go in and be transparent to the company that you're partnering up with, and letting them know, that you're here to you're here to help them. You're here to, I'm not gonna lie, me being on the road, it was work as much as you can, to be honest. Sometimes it's cool to take a break sometimes, but like, I'm not in LA, like, well, like, I got nothing to do out here. Like, yeah, you can go out and chill for sure, but I'd much rather, you know, save up and rack up as much money as I can, and then go support my economy in LA. While you're out here, you're here to make money. And, you know, like, for me, you just gotta go in there and do what you gotta do. Stop being on the bullshit. Companies are there to hire you because they're pretty much in need of help, not for you to fucking stand around and, come in this and that. Yes, there has been times, of course, that I've just been fucking chilling and this and that, but I guarantee you, 1,000% of the time, I was working my ass off. And that's exactly how it should be, especially since these companies are out there, you know. It depends. Now, see, that's another thing that I'll say to start up, my company. It's just the way everything is set up. There's some people that are very smart. There's some people that are not. I'm not smart. I don't think I'm dumb either, though, but I'm there. And you're just gonna know how to negotiate, know how to talk, know how to, go in there with the right mentality as far as, what your company can provide and how it's going to provide it. Like, that's the main concept of shipping and receiving, too. Like, they're going to go in and gather all this data and make this software and make all these reports, just to go and charge at a regular price. Like, no, this is a real company that's going to get real employees and real associates and pay them correctly at the end of the day, because in shipping and receiving, the story, for anybody that doesn't know, is a book or a TV series that I'm trying to work on, and you can check out some other videos. But at the same time, it's more like they're gonna go in already knowing what the main goal is. Their main goal is basically to build the best third-party logistics company in the world. And how they're going to do that? They're going to go ahead and gather the best data that they can for the next 11 months, and then go take this information to companies. And they're going to hire people that can do the job, and they're going to pay them by performance, and they're going to pay them what they're supposed to get paid. They're going to pay them by how fast they work, by performance pay. And traveling, like, as far as this show, it's just gonna be all around. Just gonna be all around the 50 states, and maybe we're not gonna cover all 50 states in the show, but it will be done. But after going your first day to the warehouse, you come back, you kind of soak it all in, and then you start from there. Start traveling, and it just really depends on the kind of work schedule you got, what shift you're gonna be doing. I mean, because you can just be in random places, and some contracts that these people get, some are in mainstream, 5 minutes from the Commerce Casino type shit. And there's some that are in the middle of nowhere that you have to drive all the way to Joliet, Illinois to go to the nearest casino. And you're an hour and a half away. So you kind of see a little bit of everything, but as far as my traveling experience, like, it's been cool. I've been doing it for around 5-6 years now. And it's tough, I'm not gonna lie, like, just being away from your family, just being away from, the people that you've basically been with your whole life. And it always depends on age as well, because, shit, if you're 18, 19, 20, going out on the road, that's just, like, crazy. But be careful, because some states you go to, they don't even allow you to get your own hotel. You gotta be over a certain age to get a hotel under your name, so careful with that. But if you're an older gentleman, with a family back home, and you're the head of the household, it's tough. You be out on the road and your family back at home, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and everybody seems to handle it a different way. There's people that have left their countries to come and do this. You know what I mean? So it's very serious, just in general, with everything that goes on. And my respects to anybody that's out there traveling to make a living. It's not tough. It's very difficult. It's very hard. As far as some companies are very demanding, it just honestly all depends. Like, it depends if you have a shitty experience at the airport. Like if you just get into some random luck. You get lucky if you go to a site where you're not doing shit and you're doing easy ass shit all fucking day and nothing physical. You get unlucky, or it just depends on the way you look at it. I like sites that, I've gone to a warehouse that the first day you get there, you're there with a group of 5 guys, and they tell you, going forward, as much hours as you want to do here, you're more than welcome. Once you guys finish order selecting, you can clean up the aisles, clean up the warehouse. I don't care. Just, you gotta be doing something. Bro, we went in, did damn near 80 hours. And I didn't know. I know some of you are gonna laugh and say like, "Oh, that ain't shit, bro. That ain't shit, bro." I know. Chill out. There's some alright numbers, but that shit's a lot, you know. But to me personally, I like that. I like those warehouses. But there's those other warehouses where, you know, you're at a manufacturing company and they're giving you 28, 30, 31 hours, getting paid $19 or $18 an hour, and you're away from home, and it's tough. It's fucking tough depending on the company you're working on too. That's why I want to do a company that's fair. I want to partner with companies that think life is fair, because there's a whole philosophy. Some companies don't give a shit about the workers that they bring in. Some companies do. Some fucking companies won't even look your way, and that's cool because they're not supposed to. I don't take that shit personal. They're already paying for my hotel, they're already paying for my per diem, they're already paying for my fucking reno if I have one, so it's all fucking good to me. Them passing out hot dogs or passing out ice cream to their associates and not giving any to us is cool with me. As long as I can keep coming in 6-7 days, fuck it. And that's real right there. But that you do have those sites that you get those days and you can go out and explore the town and you do what you want to do. You can go out and fucking party. You can go out and do whatever the hell you want. But once again, like, you always gotta just be aware, because you're working all these hours, and then just to go ahead and leave it in Cincinnati, Ohio, all your money, or in Phoenix, Arizona, you know what I mean? It's just insane. Like, you out there, you were working 8, 9, 10, 11 months, and you come back home with nothing. Like, believe me, it's happened to me. I'm not gonna be over here acting like if I'm Mr. fucking cool guy either, not chale. But at the same time, you gotta know what you're out here for, But see, that's why I said at the end of the day, different people come with different goals. You're not gonna tell somebody that's 18 the same thing, a 40-year-old, or a 45, or a 50-year-old, or a 30-year-old. No one's ever gonna think the same. No one's ever gonna basically have the same mind. And you can meet people and you can talk to people and shit like that, but like, see, this is what I'm deciding to do with my life while I'm out here on the road. Just talk about my experiences and talk about my past and talk about my life, and hopefully get to put out this book, or put out these stories one day, more than anything. You know what I mean? And if God gives me the ability to start up that third-party logistics company that's gonna be having everybody wanting to apply, because they're gonna be wanting to go where they choose, and we're gonna have partners all over the world told, and we're gonna partner up with so many companies that we're just gonna have sites till we die. You know, and it's not a monopoly. It's just more of a, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna find people that want to work and that want to recruit and want to network, and they want to build contracts with different partners and different companies, and that's the step we're taking forward. You know, we want to come in and help out as much as we can. If you got people that have FMLA, or people that can't work, or people that want to work part time, perfect. We will bring you people, or we will have people around that can work full time. If you have, if your company can't hire enough people around your area, perfect. You can go ahead and call us. If you have a job fair and you're gonna hire 30 people and you need all your people to train and you need an extra company to come in and pick for a couple of weeks, perfect. Call us. If you're gonna have a couple of unknown drops because of the holidays, perfect. Give us a call. Everything you need. You're gonna close out a warehouse and you need, people to load trailers and start bringing down pallets, perfect. We're gonna be able to do everything. And it's all gonna start from the beginning. It's all gonna work with data. It's all gonna be so futuristic. We're gonna see what people know, their experience, and just get the best quality, maybe even basically for hire as well. Maybe a company that does that. So we'll get people and we'll go ahead and bring them into our company. And if you decide to stay there, let's say in the middle of Seattle, Washington, if we find a warehouse and we take you out there on behalf of our warehouse, on behalf of our company, and you happen to like it 3 years down the road or a year or whatever, and they want to contract you or hire you directly through that company, we can work something out. That's one of our players right there. He came through our farm system. We taught him. And we're not saying we want to seek the rewards from him, but we're saying, he's gonna cost a price. We're gonna help him make the most money we can. We're gonna negotiate for him. Why not? It's just a dream, But then again, just traveling, just being able to meet new people it's always risky. People aren't always nice. And, people aren't always mean. There's some very nice people out there. But once again, I just think, knowing the way I've been in the past with different people and things like that, I wouldn't trust myself sometimes either. It's just, you gotta know who you're talking to and what you're talking to them about, and remember not to say too much, and just remember to always remember what the goal is at the end of the day, because if you're there to try to make, I don't know, $1,200 a week on your check, but you start gambling, going to the casino, or you start drinking, or you start getting fucked up, or you start meeting some chicks, or you just start getting distracted, and you're making $1,000 a week, you're already fucking up. Stick to the goal, because time waits for nobody, to be honest. But I say with jobs like these and opportunities like this, yeah, it's cool to do it forever. Damn, I don't know about that. It's awesome, but it's also lonely out here, It's also tough to stay out of temptations and different situations like that, Sometimes it's better to keep to yourself, and because I'll be honest, sometimes I just get the fucking feeling of going to the casino and fucking playing some poker, but damn, I need to save up some feria, you know? I mean, because I could win. Then at the same time, I know the way I can win is the way I could lose as well. So, you know, and I know, why are you thinking like that? But, I mean, I think realistically, to be honest, because I'm the type of player that I've fucking played a hand miraculous fuckingly and still come out on some bullshit. Or I have fucking pocket kings or aces and they get fucking beat by a 10-3 of clubs on some fucking bullshit. You know? So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, the risk of going, you know, winning, there's also a risk of losing. You know? But I'm deciding if I want to go, you know, to another state. Right now I'm in the West Coast, and they're asking me if I want to go to somewhere in the East Coast. But to be honest, I'm good. I'd rather stay in the West Coast. You know, the West Coast is the best coast. But I mean, more than anything, I should be grateful there's work out there. You know, shipping and receiving is just something that's been on my mind lately on this show, and just gonna try to get it off the ground any way I can. I need to find out a way to kind of like write it and put it up on some type of source or something. I mean, I'm trying my best with these videos, but these videos I mostly just want them for myself, just in case anything happens. I have some audio recordings of my voice and really of whatever's on my mind, because I tend to do these videos without thinking. I just talk them through. That's why I stutter so much, and I literally just press play or record on the phone, and that's it. You know, sitting in my hotel room, looking outside, looking at the freeway, looking at these fucking cars pass. You know, I hate driving. Like, if there was one thing I could have, it'd just be a driver, bro. Just like definitely chilling outside or something, or if I had enough money, just have him in his own room and shit, huh? Shit, that'd be crazy. Just having that food, like, yo, my boy, can you help me out? Take me over here, like, yeah, duh, I'm your driver, bro. Like, oh yeah, my bad, dog. I'm tripping. I appreciate that, dog. But yeah, you know, I think for right now, I want to stay in the West Coast and just figure it out, you know? Just try to work hard and just try to get better at this talking every day. You know, these videos are getting kind of shorter, but I kind of have just been recording that way I don't really lose the feeling of it, because I've been a little unmotivated this week, but that's because of personal reasons. But I've been still trying to record, and you know, I'm gonna try to keep it going. Like, I shouldn't even be that bummed out, to be honest. Like, everything is all good. Like, I'm straight fucking tripping. But yeah, I'm gonna try to continue to, you know, I want to start writing tomorrow the book on shipping and receiving, and just kind of putting everything together as far as the first chapter. I know it's gonna be a long time, but I got a lot of fucking ideas and a lot of stuff written down and just so much shit. And I think I might be ready to take that next step and just kind of start working on it. You know, like I said, these audio recordings are more for YouTube, just to kind of have in there in the future. You know, I hope YouTube doesn't fucking take them down or anything. That'll be kind of fucked up. But yeah, I hope, you know, if anybody else is traveling, just go ahead and let me know. Leave a comment down there or something. Oh no, but I mean, anything else I can say on traveling? Remember to get your rewards points when you go on an airplane. If you're first time traveling, you know, get your rewards points, get your hotel points, get them all over the place, especially if you know you're going to be doing it for a long time. get your hotel points, your rental points, your airplane points, and just try to go out there and get a couple of souvenirs. That's something I wish I could have done, and take pictures too, just of anywhere you're at, just in nice areas. You know, there's still a lot of places that I didn't take any pictures of, but I hope to go back with time. But hopefully that time's not working. More like soaking it all in and being able to enjoy the cities and the states. But everybody be safe and take care.